Hey everyone, we're going to start a new series. This is called Bumpin In The Whip. You know, there's a lot more music than the ones I just showed, than what I listen to, because I can't play vinyls in my car. There's a lot of stuff I listen to, and I burn tons of stuff all the time, and so I have a nice thing of CDs here. And you know, this is a music community, so I won't be showing any pictures or images, but hopefully that won't be a big issue for you. And if it is, that's fine too. But you know, this is some really good stuff that I wanted to sort of show off and maybe start a new series, just sort of showcasing what's listened to a lot. Because especially with my new job, I haven't been spending a lot of time with vinyls and the ones I've gotten recently in the last week or two, because I've just been driving a lot back and forth and getting home late. And when I get home late, I sort of want to relax in bed and watch a TV show or something, so a lot of my music listening is going on in the actual car. So, let me go over this stuff with you. Some great stuff too. I'm going to start off and thank Andy, One Big Holiday 42. This is a great band, and I'm really happy. You recommended I would like this, and you didn't disappoint at all. This is Best Coast, Crazy For You, their first album. I really just can't get enough of this. It's just really cool stuff. I mean, I love the female vocalist. I love the sound they give off, you know? Like, I've listened to it a couple different times, and it's just so enjoyable to listen. And I have a really big feeling that Mary will be a very big fan of this, but I haven't showed her to you. Actually, I might surprise her with it. Maybe do a gift out of it or something instead. But I know they have a new album that just came out, and Andy, if you've listened to it already, give me your opinions of it. I'd love to hear it. But I absolutely love this CD, so I want to thank you for that. This right here is probably one of my favorite things, and one of the most excited currently right now in here. This is a rapper that I never know about, and I just saw his name dropped on like a YouTube comment from a review I was watching. Not through VC, but something else. And he's from Las Vegas, which there's not really any big rappers coming out of Las Vegas that you hear about. Excuse me. This guy's name is Dizzy Wright, and it's called Smoke Out Conversations. And what's really interesting about this is that because of the cover on the CD, which is a really cool cover, and because of the name of the album, people would probably assume that he was like one of those like weed rappers. But I'm telling you, anyone who listens to hip hop, you need to check out this guy Dizzy Wright, because he's a really young dude, and his lyrics are just so they're just so thought-provocative, and just really feel him hardcore. His beats are really top-notch, and like he'll have 3 or 4 different songs that are just really like the opening track is just so freaking lush. It's crazy, with a really cool guitar lick, and he'll do a few tracks like that, and all of a sudden he'll come with one of those really harder, like beef-sounding, like your typical where hip-hop stemmed from type of track, you know, like of why I'm better than you type of tracks, you know. But then he goes back to some really cool, like just really heartfelt stuff, and you know, just stuff that I really have always loved and related to a lot of in hip hop music. You know, a really amazing piece of music. There's a track on here that just talks about, you know, one perspective from like the guy's perspective and the girl's perspective in each verse, about like, you know, this guy who wants to go out and like, you know, just shoot this other guy and kill this dude because this guy got because his best friend was killed by this guy in the streets, and the wife and the girlfriend just arguing with him and asking you that really what to do and making the wrong decision because of the fact of it being like, you know, how she's pregnant and they have a family they have to raise. And you know, I don't always sound silly to people. When I was younger, growing up in high school and stuff, my friends used to say that and like stuff like that, because it's like if you don't grow up in the streets and you don't really get it and relate to it, and it's just not true. I mean, like, we're all human, we can all understand that, we all have our own stories that relate to the same type of stuff, you know. But this guy is a young dude. He's put out a mixtape, I think, before this, and I'm going to download that. But this is like an official release on the label called, I think, Funk Volume. And there's another rapper that's more of like a shockcore type of rapper, like a shocker type of rapper that has a really cool flow, like Eminem back in the day. And his name is Hopsin, and it's the same label. But Dizzy Wright, this is I'm so excited to dig more into that album. This is another really great rapper that I've been excited about, but I don't have too much to say because I've only given it one listen. I really want to spend more time on it. But he's a rapper I've always loved. This guy's name is Ab Soul, and this is his new full-length album called Control System. And this is actually on He's part of like the Black Hippie crew on Top Dog Entertainment, which is like this crew of 4 people that are really, really making a big name for themselves the last couple of years out of Compton. And the main dude that's most noticed is Kendrick Lamar. There's 2 other guys, and I'd probably say the order from the best rappers are probably like Kendrick Lamar and Ab Soul are really tied, but Kendrick Lamar is getting more into like, you know, a lot of the mainstream rappers are wanting to work with him. He's just a monster. And then there's a guy named Schoolboy Q that's really great, and then J-Rock, and it's actually J-Rock's label, but J-Rock's sort of like not the best of them. But this guy's a real talent, he's just a real genius, a real straight wordsmith, and his other albums have been really great, and I've loved every minute of them. So I need to dig more into this. Some really, really abstract beats and different approaches to things, and lots of different thought processes, and this guy's just really something else. So if you like Kendrick Lamar, or if you really just like really good thought-provoking stuff, Ab Soul works well for that. Showing some of my hip-hop stuff first. There is a lot of hip-hop in here, you know, mixing it with some other stuff, because that's why I like to bump a lot in my whip. Keeping the title there. This is interesting. Okay, I have a lot of things to say about this. I really am. Like, I just have strong opinions. This is a rapper named Lil B. Okay, and this guy is part of like this like movement from a few years back in California, in like the Bay Area, that's called like hyphy, and he was part of this crew with 2 other rappers, I think, and basically they were doing some stuff together, and they got big off this one single they had. But the real thing that's interesting is that this dude has made a huge, huge name just for being controversial, because a lot of people have very, very serious opinions on him, and how he's like a horrible rapper, and how he's just a joke. But he just kept eating it up and doing what he's doing, and like, you know, little B stands for like based God, and he has this whole like mentality of living that's called like based, B-A-S-E-D, and like if you're like living like a based life, like, you know, nothing bothers you, you do what you do, and you do you, and you live life happy, and you don't let anyone tell you differently. Just like, you know, lots of people like to live that type of life, but he calls it the based life. So he's Lil B, the based God. And you know, for the last couple, like last year or so, I've heard him bring it up, and like there's just always controversy. I always heard people, I used to always heard haters, you know, it was just like, Lil B, you know, like F that guy, Lil B shouldn't be in there, and he was on like the XXL freshman list and whatnot, and it's just a lot of controversy. He's just eating it up, so he knew that people were going to eat it up, and he put out this record that was a controversial title, because it's like, I'm gay, and you know, the cover of the album's like a play off a Marvin Gaye record and stuff like that, and but man, I gotta tell you, it's just like, I have a lot of opinions in this record, and I would love other people's opinions and views who listen to hip-hop, and I asked my buddy Max about it to get back to me, because I can't help it, because I can't describe it, why, but I love it. Well, love it, but like the thing is, first of all, the beats are incredible. So that's the thing, you know, the beats are so freaking good that you can just vibe out to it. And he's like this stream of consciousness rapper who's not really, like, he just goes off on a tangent. So like, the one thing that's against him is that you can't follow him too much. You get lost. He doesn't keep me listening constantly. But then when you let it play out and vibe out in the car, you try to get into it more and more, and like you'll be like doing something, all of a sudden like certain phrases and a couple lines and now and then and every once in a while will sort of stick out to you. So I feel like with more listens you hear more, but you just hear some things and you're like, oh, okay, so he is trying to say some stuff. You can tell he's trying to say some stuff. It's a very like political, it has like political views and social political views, and you know, about just like in just different standpoints on a lot of that type of stuff. And so in that matter, like, you know, like first of all, everything before this just sounds silly to me on the computer. But this is like the only Lil B album I'm going to ever listen to as of now. I won't go back because it all sounds retarded. But this one actually sounds good, and a lot of his fans say that this is like him in his real self, and, you know, being a positive person. But so he actually, this is like Lil B, the really like rapper that a lot of people think is really dumb. It's like his most serious attempt at making a serious record, and the beats are so freaking good, and it's worth it. You can vibe out to it. So I'm intrigued because it's hard to explain. This is a guy, I don't know much about this yet, I'll be honest with you, I can't give a real opinion, but I did burn it just recently. It's a guy named John Black. I found him on Bandcamp, J-O-N-B-L-A-Q. and the album is called The Book of John, and he's a Christian rapper. He's like a really young dude who's a Christian rapper, and what I liked about it when I was going through the tracks and just streaming them is that he has really hard beats and just like it's like a dude who's a Christian rapper, but he's not trying, like, but his beats sound like they don't fall into like this Christian rap category that just sometimes just doesn't do it enough, you know, and it sounds like he's got some grade A production, and I skimmed through his verses, and he doesn't just, he's not preaching on you in every track. Like, I'm a Christian, and I'm doing my thing right now, but I don't need someone else to, I don't need every single song on an album to be telling me this, and that, but, you know, so he sort of speaks, and through it, you can see his Christian beliefs in it, but it's not talking about it directly, and I just like that point of view. So I've been meaning to listen to this because it sounded really dope, and I listened to it and streamed it a bit, so. My boy Hoy recommended this to me, and I finally got around to listening to it, and I want to let you know about it. It's Tony Banks, A Curious Feeling. It was the first of his Holy Grail videos he put up, and I've been meaning to check it out, and I've got around to it. I must say, man, I was impressed with it, but here's the thing that's very interesting. I found it very interesting that I read about it that he doesn't do the singing on the album. So for a while, in the first listen, I thought it was him until I looked it up. And it turns out this other guy, which you probably know, of course, and people know, but I can't think off the top of my head unless I look online. But, I mean, it's so funny because I feel like it's like, the guy has such a, like, when you listen to this album with that guy singing, and there are really some amazing work that Tony Banks does with the synthesizers. And what's really cool about this is that his voice has like this, it's such a, when I listen to this album, I get a Stevie Wonder vibe. Like, I don't know about you, but I get a hardcore, like, Stevie Wonder vibe from the guy's voice mixed with Tony Banks' composition, so. But I did enjoy this, and, you know, I don't really know. I mean, I got it in the car to listen to it, and I played it twice, but it just doesn't fit for me, for my moods when I'm driving. But I'm glad I listened to it, and if I saw the record and it wasn't that expensive, I'd definitely pick it up for sure if it was a used copy. So I'm glad you found your copy of it, along with Anthony Phillips and Laura Nero that you found. Logic is a really, really great, it's like an upcoming MC I've been following. This is his newest mixtape called Young Sinatra, Undeniable. When I did that video for Conrad recently for the Mayflowers contest, and you saw the Frank Sinatra I was doing in the beginning and how it breaks into a beat, that was from his last mixtape. He's sort of going with this whole Young Sinatra, smooth guy persona, and it's just like really, he's like a really, really great representation of like bringing back like the East Coast hip hop sound. Like, he can go super smooth, but on this record he rips it up. He jumps on a Tribe beat, I think. He jumps on a Biggie track, and he's, you know, he has like his third version of Dead Presidents 3, where it's like new beats with like the Dead Presidents thing from Nas, like in the samples, and this dude's just a beast, really. Like, he's a serious beast to be reckoned with in terms of new hip-hop people coming up right now. So Logic, you should check him out. You can get his mixtapes for free if you just go on Blogspot, search on Google or something, and just Google Logic Young Sinatra mixtape, and you'll find his stuff, and you won't be disappointed with that one. He's another rapper I've always loved. He hasn't put out an album, I don't think, since 04, 05-ish. An official release. His name is I Self Divine. He's on Rhymesayers, Atmospheres label, out of Minneapolis, and this is The Sound of Low Class America, his new album, and man, there's some great tracks on here. In my opinion, it gets better as it goes on, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, but the first bunch of tracks are good, but then I feel like some of the later tracks really, really shine and sort of like make it a little bit uneven, but it's still really successful. I found out recently this guy put out 4 mixtapes leading up to this release, and I haven't been on top of it a while because he's been off the game and out of the scene for so long. But I Self Divine is a really good rapper. He's just like one of those dudes from the streets that just really, he's always speaking for the lower class and just, you know, that type of outlook on life, and it's just always so real, and it's just so respectable, you know, you can't help but respect it. And he used to be a part of this original hip-hop crew with another DJ, with a DJ, I don't remember the DJ's name, and it was him, and they were called the Micronauts, and they put out like an album called Obelisk Movements and a couple others and stuff, and yeah, so I Self Divine is serious, and he's just a great, really thick, serious, like, he's just got a dope voice too. He's a powerful voice. Search some of him on YouTube. His first album on Rhymesayers was called Self-Destruction. I used to have a poster in my room. You guys might know this from R&B. I haven't been listening to this. I just pulled this back out from an old spindle of CDs from back in college. I pulled this out, so I gotta pop this in again. This is David Ruffin, and has 2 of his albums on here. It has Who I Am from 1975 and Gentleman Ruffin from 1980. So it's just really great R&B from late 70s, 80s. I was always more of a fan. I was always really big on the Who I Am album, 1975, which I think is maybe his 3rd or 4th. I haven't looked at it in a while, but I was always more a fan of that. I never got into the Gentleman Ruffin as much, but I knew people, it was always acclaimed as well, but Gentleman Ruffin's more of a straight R&B smoother sound, and like Who I Am is more just upbeat sounding. So like it's more, the second album is more like Bachelor, you know. I don't have to say much about this. I just reburned a copy because it's been so long, and I was just craving jumping it back into the car again. This is Kanye's My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. Couldn't find the one I used to burn. Actually, I think I scratched up and burned and just overplayed the first one I had so much, so I got another burned. Alright, this is Cannibal Ox, The Cold Veins. This is a classic hip-hop album from 2000, underground hip-hop, made up of a really, really great rapper that I love so much, all of his solo stuff, named Vast Air, and another rapper named Ward Omega. Had production from LP on there, and just really serious hip-hop album. They're really, really cool, really dope beats. So check out this one, The Cold Vein from Cannibal Ox. They're serious, a serious release back in the day. Sorry, drawing a blank. My man Aaron, Mr. Bizarro, recommended this, and I never heard of the guy, and I know he's well known, and I'm glad I did. I'm sure Marty's a big fan of him as well. This is Rich Mullins' album that Aaron recommended to me from 1993. A Liturgy, A Legacy, and a Ragamuffin Band. And it's like rated like the #1 on like CCM's top 100 Christian albums, and it's just really great stuff. It has a very like Irish sound to me, and I thought that it was, but maybe I'm wrong because Mary knows a lot about him, and she said that there was a lot of talk about them back then about how he actually had Native American influences. But when I hear the music, I think I hear like, I thought it was an Irish jig type of sound, you know. But you can listen to some really calmer songs, and then all of a sudden they can jam out like hell on some of their tracks. This is just a great, great record. I'm really glad. Thanks a lot, Aaron, for recommending me this. And I'm sure you know this, Marty. If you don't, you should check it out. Let's see what we got here. I've been talking about this one a bit in one other video, so I'm just going to show it quickly. It's that Robert Glasper album, Black Radio. Really great stuff. Check that one out. My boy Daryl likes him. Another more independent rapper I found for free on Bandcamp. It's really sick stuff. The rapper's name is A1, and he worked with the album's called Love Supersedes 2, and there's 2 producers, Thomas Prime and Chameleon Beats. It's sick because it's they actually, even though it's in mixtape form and not physical form, they actually made it as an LP1, LP2, and the first one is all with one producer's work, and the other one's all the other producers' work. So this is A1. Love Supersedes 2. Just really positive sounding beats. Really, really great stuff. This is sick. This is really, really great to zone out to and just like really chill. This is that band that Henry showed that got me into them. I only know this latest album of theirs. It's Alcest, with that guy's band, Alcest, Les Voyages, and it's a lot longer than that. It's just the newest album of his. Just never heard him before and really enjoyed it, so I have it in the car. It's just really great, like really great metal music. I know that River's a big fan of them too. I think River went to go see them play. It's just awesome. So music, right? This is Villa Rosa Blue Diamond Island. I found this on a blog randomly, and it's sick. It's like a girl and a guy rapper, like a Spanish girl and this other dude, and then just rap together on really great beats. So let's check this out. Villa Rosa, Blue Diamond Island. It's good. Some good stuff. Another great rapper I found, Rashid Hadi, or Hadi. It's Hadee, Rashid. Album's called Oral Sex, Aural, and it's actually longer. It's Oral Sex and it's something else, but I just wrote the shorter version. Really great rap. Really good hip hop. The beats on this are dope as hell. You know, I can say about anything, but you just gotta trust me and check out what you think sounds good to you from the name of it. I've talked about Shy Stimuli a lot. I won't talk about Shy Stimuli too much right now. I can talk about him forever. He's putting out a new mixtape every single month this year. He did it back in 2008. He puts out albums. He's just, honestly, he's just the, you consider everyone rapper you can think of. People talk about Jay-Z. Of course I love Jay-Z. But I'm telling you, I've never had someone feel this way about it. I honestly do believe that Shy Stimuli is just the greatest rapper. Honestly, the greatest rapper. And the funny thing is that there's a whole history about him and him getting signed and how he was signed to Rockefeller, then Jay-Z did something that messed him up, and so like Jay-Z knows who he is, and a lot of main rappers like Kanye and Jay-Z and people like that, they know who he is and they sign him, they co-sign him, but he's just always on like the fence with blowing up. Shy Stimuli is so good. And the other dude I have on here is who does a lot of work with him is Clams Casino, who got really big this past year. If you guys follow Pitchfork, you might have seen him. He put out a mixtape, a beat tape, and another one called the Rainforest EP. It's just really different production, really overwhelming, really lush, lots of really cool sounds. Clams Casino. Odd Future, the OF Tape Volume 2, the new mixtape from the Odd Future Wolfgang. After loving Tyler Creator's Bastard and some other solo releases I've heard, I wasn't really a big fan of Goblin. Goblin sort of seems to me like it's just a real, besides obviously Yonkers from Tyler Creator is an amazing song, but besides that song, the album doesn't really stand anything towards Bastard. But I heard this is a really big jump back into like them being back in good form, and I really enjoy the songs on this if you like the type of style. So. Three more. La Dispute, Wildlife, one of my favorites that I can listen to. You know, I don't listen to too much of the horror music on a daily basis, and this is one of those bands that I think is different than everyone else, that I can love because of their music, the way they change up their songs. I really just love the singer too. He has this great, amazing voice that does such a cool. He has this way of just going back and forth so quickly between screams and talking, and you know, and I love this band. And a lot of people I know a lot of rock people were considering this like a masterpiece album. I love their first one too, which is a longer title, but Wildlife is sick, and it's a whole like concept type of album. There's a lot. They're all stories. You don't know La Dispute, you should. Dennis Ryder. This is a Christian album from like this just a random obscure folk guy from like a blog I found that has all this like folkish Christian music, and the cover looks sick. This is Dennis Ryder with a Y, and it's Let Me Take You to the Kingdom from 1973. I think the blog I found it on is something around the lines of Christian Wings, but just type in Dennis Ryder, Let Me Take You to the Kingdom if you want to check that out. And last but not least, I saved it for this reason because I really want to tell you guys. Marilyn Manson, Born Villain. I can go on about this. I've had a lot of opinions while listening to it, but I need to tell you this. All in all, this is a very good album. Especially with, I loved Marilyn's last album, The High End of Low. I thought that was a great album, and it was a more emotional album, and that's why I loved it. I felt like it was like a step more into the emotional direction of Mechanical Animals. The music wasn't up to par, but the last album, High End of Low, I think the last album is a great album, Marilyn. But before that, after Hollywood, there's two albums that really aren't that good. Well, the golden age of grotesque is just repetitive, and it just doesn't stand any sort of test of time. So it's whatever. I can toss that. I'm not gonna be honest. I never really spent the time enough on Eat Me, Drink Me, so I can't say much. But I don't think it really does too much either. But the last one's great. But this is more into like the form of the harder Marilyn. This fits into the Antichrist Superstar Marilyn, the Portrait of American Family Marilyn, and you know the Mechanical Animals Marilyn. So this is a great return to form for Marilyn Manson. And, you know, I don't want to like put it this way, because of course it's great to grow and have different sounds, but it doesn't mean that it's a bad thing to sound great and go back to the sounds that you used to have, originality. I mean the original stuff, because like what's really good about it is I thought it was awesome that there's really great songs on here that you can actually hear a song, and these songs can fit on Antichrist Superstar. And there's a song or two I've heard, there's a song in particular I heard where the chorus just sounded so damn good, and the way he was singing, it just sounded like it fit perfectly on Mechanical Animals. So there's just some great stuff on here. You know, with this one I'll give you tracks. You got stuff like, first of all, the opening song, Hey Cruel World, is just a great opener for a Marilyn album. I will tell you this, the single was called No Reflection. I'm a big fan of that song. I think it's like a great Marilyn single. You know, Marilyn Manson knows how to make a single. Beautiful People, The Dope Show, Tourniquet, like, you know, the stuff, a bunch from Hollywood, like Coma White, he knows how to make a single. The Nobodies. So, like, I just thought for a Marilyn Manson single, No Reflection is just a great single, and I can get down with it hard in the car all the time. The only song that bores me, that I find doesn't go anywhere, is a song that I think a lot of people sort of feel the same way about who know this album, is a song called Pistol Whip. It's the third song, and I just don't think it does much. There's not much going on in the music, and it just doesn't keep me interested too long. But besides that, every other song I'm down with, for sure. The song Overneath the Path of Misery is a great freaking song. It's where he talks about and does lyrics. I think it does speak lines from Macbeth. I love the bass line in slow motion. Check out Slow Motion. Sick. More rhythm, Marilyn. The song The Gardener, with him talking and just sort of ranting over a really awesome song. The Gardener might be one of my favorite tracks on here. Lay Down Your Goddamn Arms is a really intense song. Murderers Are Getting Prettier Every Day. That's a song that I hear, I'm like, this could be on Antichrist Superstar in a heartbeat. It would just fit right in if you heard it. Actually, I think it's Murderers Are Getting Prettier Every Day where the chorus sounds a lot like Mechanical Animals. But now I'm just going to go on ranting, so, you know, it is what it is. Anyway, that's a great album. Check that out. If you made it through and you enjoy this, I'm glad. I really appreciate it. I guess it just shows that it's not about just showing your record, but it's about listening to the music opinions. But if you didn't, that's cool too. You wouldn't even see this message now anyway, but this isn't for everyone to just sit back and watch me show blank CDs and talk about them, but if you did, awesome. I appreciate it. I would love to see this type of stuff. You guys talk about music and what you're listening to currently in the car. I love it. So this is the first edition, baby. Bumpin' the Whip. One love.